Hi, welcome again to Coach's Corner. It's a joy from time to time to be able to give you a report on what God's doing, and we thank God for His blessing upon the ministry of SCORE International. And as we continue to grow and God continues to bless, it's amazing what He's doing throughout the world in which SCORE International is serving. I would like to start off first of all by saying just recently we returned from Dominican Republic. John Zeller and I, Keith Madison, Don Gordon, and a number of us were in the Dominican Republic. And I was there showing one of our new partners a church in Fort Payne, Alabama, the ministry. And then they took me up to Constanza, and now we're beginning to think in terms of praying for using SCORE International base in Constanza, which is in the northern part, actually just right in the center of Dominican Republic, north of Santo Domingo. We had 300 baseball coaches, Dominican baseball coaches, who came to our camp. We had 7 partners come together, mostly the Dominican Republic ministry called Baseball Chapel, and also we have FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, that really did a lot of legwork to pull this together, and SCORE supplied most of the resources to make this coaches clinic happen. The exciting thing about the coaches clinic, there were dozens and dozens of men who gave their heart to Jesus, and what's exciting about that is these young men and older men who are coaching baseball in Dominican Republic, where baseball is not just a sport, it's the life of the people. As we saw during the baseball clinic, or rather the baseball classic. The World Baseball Classic was won by Dominican Republic. They beat all the teams, including the USA, and advanced to the championship where they were world champions. But what's exciting is these coaches who came together for this clinic, sponsored by SCORE and 7 of our partners, is that these coaches have more than 5,000 little boys in their program. So our thinking is, if we can influence the influencers, if we can reach these men for Christ, then they're able to pass along the spiritual impact upon these 5,000 young boys. And we begin to have an impact upon the next generation of Dominican young men. Then we had a great time in Panama. John Zeller took some of the NFL players and a group of young football players from the University of Mississippi, and they had hundreds of Panamanian boys come out to learn how to play American football. And in Panama, because of the great influence of the Americans being there in the canal zone for so many years, we were able to see an interest in American football and to have a great time sharing the gospel through football with the Panamanians. It's exciting to know what's going on with our ministry at Pasitos de Jesus. That's the new orphanage for girls that we have in Boca Chica, Dominican Republic. 32 little girls now. Oh, and by the way, I want you to contact our SCORE office because we need sponsors for these little girls. These girls need our help. And for $30, you could sponsor a child. You could go online and you could see the pictures of these young ladies and how you can donate. We need sponsors to help us with Pasitos de Jesus. But God is doing some great things in this orphanage. Or really, I keep calling it an orphanage. Not really an orphanage. We want it to be called a home for girls. Brazil is exploding. Steve and Marisol Tice, our missionaries in Brazil, are just doing great work in running camps in Brazil. Near the Sao Paulo area, Steve and Marisol are having camps, and they're mostly partnered with the Rollins Foundation. The Rollins Foundation is funding most of the money, and they're able to put these camps on, and we're having hundreds and hundreds of teenagers come to camp, and there have been many who've accepted Jesus as personal Savior. Well, that's in the past, but we got so many things that are going on this summer in Dominican and in Costa Rica, where, by the way, we're very excited about this ministry in Costa Rica called the Hope Center. And Gabby Prado is heading this up. It's under her direction, and most all of our ladies in our ministry and missionaries in Costa Rica are working with this SCORE International project called the Hope Center. And I thank God for Pastor Paul Collier, ABWE missionary, who we're using their church as a launching pad for this ministry, where young ladies who maybe are contemplating abortion, or there's crisis pregnancies, and they need counseling. And we're excited to be able to share the gospel with these young ladies who are pregnant and need help from people to love on them and to give them advice and counsel. And Gabby Prado and our missionary ladies are operating this new ministry in Costa Rica. So many great things are happening there. And then in just a few weeks, we'll be going to Portugal, teaming with Word of Life again in Portugal. We'll be having a basketball team from Worthington Christian High School in Worthington, Ohio. They'll be taking their basketball team over. Young men from Ohio will be going, and they'll be playing games against Portuguese high school players and sharing the gospel through basketball. At the same time, we are going to have clinics for these Portuguese coaches, where we provide instruction on how to coach basketball. You know, everybody looks at the Americans as being the greatest in the world in basketball. And we're happy to go over and share with the Portuguese coaches on how to be effective in coaching the game of basketball. Domestically, we have two things that we're involved in right now in Pikeville, Kentucky, which is right at the heart of Appalachia. Frank Dees and our staff with our domestic ministry, they're having great success. But there's another area where we need some help financially, because the people that used to help us, the government, has pulled out. They don't have the resources, they don't have the money. And Frank has so many projects where they're helping the elderly. They're doing projects on houses with the poor. And Frank needs resources. And so with the government pulling out, and I'm not going to go there and talk about the government and all the things that's happening with finances and the economy, but we need, as believers in Jesus Christ and as the church, we need to come together and show our love and concern for the widows and the poor and those who are destitute. They need our help. And so you can contact our home office or go online and see what we're doing in Pikeville, Kentucky. And we could use more volunteers. So you can get connected to what we're doing domestically. Then, of course, every year in July, we go to Eutaw, Alabama. Sound like a misnomer, but there is a Eutaw, city of Eutaw, Alabama. And we have a ministry there that we go and we, again, reach the poor, reach the widows, help the destitute. And this is one of the poorest communities in all of America. And we believe in reaching the lost. We believe in missions, but missions just doesn't exist overseas. Right in our own backyard, around the corner, across the street in America, there are people who need Jesus Christ. And we found a community down in Alabama that desperately needs our help. And so we're going down in July. We're taking a lot of people from churches all across America, and we're doing ministry in Eutaw, Alabama. So these are just some things that are going on. We appreciate your love, your support. Thank you for praying for SCORE International, and thank you for giving. Without your faithfulness, we could never do what God has gifted us to do. But with you as our partners, we can do great and mighty things with the gospel of Jesus Christ. All we need to do is get the message out. The gospel is the power of God to salvation. So thank you for helping us get the word out till the nets are full. God bless you. See you next time.